Welcome back, friends. Today we're going to paint a really pretty lavender field. Colors you're going to need: purple, blue, green, yellow, pink, and white. I always have my favorite four brushes in the studio. That's my 1 inch flat brush, my 10-6, and one round brush. Don't forget to have a cup of water and a rag for keeping your brushes clean. And tonight, go find your old toothbrush. This toothbrush lives in my studio and I use it for painting, so you're going to need a toothbrush tonight. Keep that guy handy. Time to replace it anyway, probably. So let's get started. I'm going to start off with my 1 inch flat brush, and I'm going to paint about, say, a little bit more than halfway on my canvas. I'm going to paint a little bit more than halfway down on my canvas with green paint. And then everything above there, I'm just going to put a nice solid white coat on. So everything about 3/4 of the way up on the canvas green, and above that we're just going to paint it white. We can take that brush, wash it off, wipe it off, and let it sit aside. We're going to let this dry for just a minute. We don't want the sky to be totally dry, but just a little bit dry before we move on to those beautiful sky colors. Our sky is just a little bit wet. I'm going to move on to my number 10 round brush. And I'm going to start with yellow, white, and purple on my brush. And I'm just going to kind of lay in some really light purple colors up towards the top of my canvas. And I'm going to have them be a little bit lower at the bottom left, right? And then they're going to just kind of swoop up towards the top. So let that just mix with that light white paint a little bit. And then I don't even have to wash my brush off. I can simply wipe it off and grab a little bit of blue. I'm just going to throw little spots of blue in there to kind of start to mix in some of that purple and blue. And that blue will go just a little bit further down on my canvas. And all I'm doing is taking my brush and I'm making little X marks. Okay, so it's like X's every direction. Once you get your X's where you like them, you can wipe your brush off. You're going to add a small amount of pink in there too. Now with this pink, we're going to start more left to right brush strokes. You can kind of pull some of that pink up towards that purple just to blend it in a little bit. I'm going to wash that brush off really good. And now I'm going to go in with white paint and yellow paint. This is where that really bright color is going to come in. Now here's what you need to be worried about, okay? If you hit too much of that yellow with that blue, you're going to get green. But if you just stay touching into that pink paint, you're going to get this beautiful magical color mix that's going to go from that really pretty yellow into that pink and then up to that purple. Go ahead and wipe that brush off, and now I'm going to take a little bit of just white on there, and I'm just going to make a couple of lines of white. I want some areas that are highlighted. Once I put some lines on, I'm going to wipe my brush off, and I'm going to go grab some more white, wipe my brush off, and as I'm going up to the top of my canvas, adding this white color, I'm just going to keep wiping my brush. Anytime I think it's starting to blend a little bit too much, or maybe moving into like some greens or some browns, wipe that brush off, grab some more white paint, and keep going with it. Now for a little bit of fun, we're going to take a little bit of that yellow, a little bit of that white on your brush, just a couple of spots of yellow up towards the top. Don't brush it too much or you will get that brown color. But that yellow should really kind of be mixed in quite without. That looks beautiful. Now back down here at the bottom, I'm going to take on my palette a little bit of that white and a little bit of that blue. Make a nice light blue color. And this is going to be our mountain range in the background. So for that mountain range, all I'm going to do is take a little bit of paint and just kind of make a zigzag line that is a little, we went for a walk. The walk may not have been a perfectly straight walk, but I'm just going to make a nice zigzag line and then go ahead and pull it straight across at the bottom. Just fill those colors on it. Below that, I'm going to mix again. I'm going to take a lot of yellow with a little bit of that green, and I'm going to make a very, very, very light green color. That very light green color, I'm going to go just right down here and tap along the edge. What I'm doing is taking my number 10 round brush and kind of tapping along that area, kind of fill some of that space in. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that purple and a little bit of that blue. I'm going to make a really nice dark area back here where there's going to be some areas that kind of pop up into that mountain range, some areas that just kind of low flat. And I don't even need to fill in my whole space. I can just take some of that, make it a little bit more kind of organic. Add a little bit of that green in there. Just give it a really nice, deep, dark, greenish purple. But it looks like it's now we are going to let this dry. When we come back in, we're going to add all of those beautiful lavender fields going in towards that sunset. With a dry background, I'm going to grab my number 6 round brush. I'm going to grab a little bit of yellow and green paint on here. And I'm going to start kind of lining out where my fields of lavender is going to be. So I'm going to imagine like a spot right here. And from right here, the top of the mountain, I'm just going to kind of come down at an angle. So from here, I'm just going to kind of make a line that goes right through here with a little bit of that light yellow. Back up to that same spot, straight down here with that light yellow. And do that again, same spot. This time I'm going to kind of come out this way with that light yellow. Going back up to the top, I'm going to do the exact same thing, kind of coming out this way. Then, same thing, same spot. I'm going to go at a more angle, okay? So I'm going to start here and I'm going to kind of come right out here at that bigger angle. I'm going to do the same thing from here down, right through here. So these are going to essentially be where my fields are going to go. So I'm going to start with my toothbrush and I'm going to start with green and purple on my toothbrush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go along these edges with that dark green purple. And I'm going to just kind of pull those colors in, leaving that yellow color behind. And my area at the bottom is going to be wider than my area at the top. Once I have that finished, I can kind of wipe my brush off, and my next layer is going to be just the purple. Might even add a little bit of that light blue. Actually, I like it. It's going to be purple and that light blue. So the next area is going to be purple and light blue, and again, it's going to be thinner towards the top and fatter at the bottom. And then the last area is going to be plain purple. But then the top of that plain purple, I'm going to add a little bit of purple and a little bit of white on the brush. And I'm going to go right in here, and I'm just going to kind of pull that really nice, pretty light purple in all over that top area. And I can even take some of that light purple and gently kind of brush it into those other two colors. But it looks as though this field has almost like an arch to it. That really light purple kind of on the top, a little bit falling over into those other colors. So I'm going to do this with every single one of these. So I've just did the first one. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to go. I'm going to jump into a really quick painting motion, and let's get these other ones done. I'm going to take a little bit of yellow and white and just make some dashed lines along that light green area just to kind of brighten it up a little bit. I'm going to wipe that brush off and take a little bit of a light blue, and I'm just going to go on the left side of the mountains on the left of the canvas and the right side of the mountains on the right. That way it's going to look like there's some shadows going on in those blue mountains. A little bit of white paint right here in this edge, and I magically have a sun. Don't forget to sign your name on your canvas. Remember, I never get to see where you're making at home unless you take a picture of it and post it to my Facebook page, Painting with a Purpose. Make sure that you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Painting with a Purpose, so you are kept up to date on all of my tutorials. And as always, stay kind, stay creative, and stay safe. Have a great day, friends. Bye now.